Boosie Badazz just sent a chilling warning to Charleston White. And this time, it's not about words or clout. It's about something far more serious. New reports claim that Charleston White might be sitting on evidence linked to a 2005 murder-for-hire plot that could change everything we thought we knew about Boosie's past. The streets are buzzing, the feds are watching, and Boosie's patience has run out. If this leak is real, it could trigger a legal firestorm, and maybe even a life sentence. Stay tuned, because what's happening behind the scenes right now could be the biggest turning point in Boosie's career, or the beginning of the end. Boosie Badazz and Charleston White have been going back and forth for months, trading insults, interviews, and viral sound bites that keep social media lit up. But this time, it's different. This time, the talk isn't about trolling or attention, it's about survival. Reports have surfaced that Charleston White may have come across or even be holding on to key information related to a 2005 murder-for-hire case that once put Boosie behind bars and nearly ended his life and career. The tension between these two outspoken figures has reached a boiling point. Boosie, known for his unfiltered energy and street loyalty, is not taking this lightly. Charleston White, a man who thrives on controversy and provocation, seems to be playing a dangerous game, one that could have real-world consequences far beyond social media. In this video, we'll break down what's really going on behind the latest Boosie versus Charleston White drama. We'll uncover the shocking claims surrounding that 2005 murder-for-hire case, the recent evidence rumors that have reignited it, and the dangerous game of words that could cost someone everything. We'll also explore what legal experts are saying, why Boosie's warning isn't just for show, and how Charleston White's past statements could come back to haunt him. You won't believe how deep this story goes, because what started as internet beef might now have turned into a real-life investigation. Now let's go back to where it all began, before the threats, before the videos, before the headlines, to understand why Boosie is warning Charleston White so fiercely today. To really understand why Boosie's latest warning to Charleston White has people talking, we need to go back nearly 2 decades, back to 2005, when Boosie wasn't the millionaire rapper we know today, but a man fighting to survive both in the streets and in the industry. At that time, Boosie was one of Baton Rouge's fastest rising rap stars. His name was spreading fast through the South. His music was raw, unfiltered, and real. But behind the fame, Boosie's world was surrounded by chaos, street politics, constant beef, and the kind of violence that often comes with living what you rap about. In 2005, a case surfaced that would change Boosie's life forever. Authorities linked him to a murder-for-hire plot that left one man dead. The case was brutal, messy, and full of twists. Prosecutors claimed Boosie had ordered the hit, using his growing fame and money to control the streets like a kingpin. It became one of the most high-profile cases in Louisiana's hip-hop scene, painting Boosie as both a rap star and a suspect in a deadly underworld story. The investigation gained national attention when law enforcement allegedly tied Boosie to several connected incidents of violence. At the time, he was accused of being part of a wider criminal network that blurred the line between music and murder. When the feds stepped in, it looked like Boosie's career, and possibly his life, was over. He faced multiple charges, including murder and conspiracy, and if convicted, he would have faced the death penalty or life in prison. The courtroom was packed with media, fans, and critics, waiting to see what would happen to one of the South's most controversial rappers. But then came the twist. Boosie fought back and won. After years of legal battles, long nights in jail, and intense public scrutiny, he was acquitted of the murder charge in 2012. His legal team argued that the state's evidence was weak and based on unreliable witnesses, and in the end, the jury agreed. Boosie walked out of that courtroom a free man, but not untouched. His reputation was scarred, his trust in people shattered, and his understanding of power forever changed. That case didn't just make Boosie a survivor, it made him a legend in hip-hop's eyes. He became the face of resilience, someone who stared down a death sentence and lived to tell about it. But it also left behind unanswered questions. Some believe not every piece of evidence was revealed, that not every witness spoke, and that certain people knew more than they ever said. Almost 20 years later, those old shadows are reappearing, because Charleston White, of all people, is claiming to have access to something tied to that dark chapter. Whether it's real evidence, a rumor, or just another ploy for attention, it's enough to make Boosie take notice. That's why Boosie's warning feels so different this time. He's not just reacting out of anger, he's reacting out of history. He knows what it's like to have his name attached to murder charges. He knows how fast a rumor can turn into a warrant. And if someone like Charleston White is waving around something connected to that case, even symbolically, Boosie's not about to let it slide. But the question everyone's asking is simple. What does Charleston White actually have? Is this just another viral stunt? Or could there be something real? Something that could reopen a chapter Boosie's been trying to close for years? If there's one thing Charleston White knows how to do, it's stir chaos online. The man has built an entire brand around controversy, calling out rappers, exposing street legends, and speaking on topics most people are too scared to touch. But this time, Charleston might have gone too far, because what he's claiming could dig up one of the darkest moments in Boosie's entire life. It all started with a live stream, one of those unfiltered late-night sessions Charleston White is known for. He was talking about fake gangsters, industry killers, and the hypocrisy of rappers who glorify violence while claiming to have changed. Out of nowhere, he dropped Boosie's name. The moment he did, the chat blew up. Thousands of viewers flooded the comments, trying to figure out what he was about to say. Charleston leaned into the camera and claimed that he had receipts, documents, evidence, or inside information allegedly connected to Boosie's 2005 murder-for-hire case. According to him, there were files, statements, or possibly even witness transcripts that were never released publicly. He hinted that the case might not be as closed as people think, and that there were details that the streets don't know yet. Now, anyone familiar with Charleston White knows that he thrives on tension. He uses shock value like a weapon. But when he started mentioning specifics, like the names of alleged associates and the circumstances around that 2005 incident, it got serious. He even suggested that Boosie had friends in law enforcement who helped him avoid a life sentence, something Boosie's supporters immediately labeled as a lie. But the damage was already done. Within hours, clips from that live stream went viral across TikTok, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter. Headlines popped up like wildfire. Charleston White claims he has evidence on Boosie's 2005 murder case. Fans, haters, and gossip pages all jumped on the story. Some dismissed it as Charleston's latest publicity stunt, while others began digging for old court records and transcripts, wondering if there was any truth to it. Boosie, however, wasn't amused. He's been through the fire once, and he's not about to let anyone drag him back into it, especially not someone like Charleston White, who's made a career out of provoking rappers and police alike. Sources close to Boosie say he took the situation very seriously. Behind the scenes, he reportedly reached out to legal contacts and old associates to make sure nothing from that era could be twisted or resurfaced. A few days later, Boosie went live himself, and that's when he issued his warning. Calm but direct, he looked straight into the camera and said, "Charleston, you better watch what you're saying. You playing with some real-life that almost cost me mine." His tone wasn't one of a man angry for clout. It was the voice of someone who's seen what happens when words turn into investigations. What made Boosie's warning even more intense is that he wasn't talking like a rapper. He was talking like a survivor. You could feel the weight of what he'd been through in every sentence. He reminded everyone that his case was over, that the court found him innocent, and that anyone suggesting otherwise was trying to destroy his name. "I beat that," Boosie said. "I stood on truth, and I walked out that courtroom clean." Don't ever try to rewrite my story. But Charleston White didn't back down. Instead, he doubled down. In another video, he taunted Boosie by saying, "If you so clean, why you worried?" He claimed that he wasn't afraid of any rapper, no matter how powerful, and that he was ready to expose whatever he wanted. This back and forth set the internet on fire. Fans began taking sides. Some said Charleston was bluffing and just wanted attention, while others insisted he might actually know something that hasn't been made public. There were even rumors that Charleston was in contact with retired investigators from Louisiana, though there's no confirmed proof. Raised a chilling question. Could old evidence, real or fake, resurface and damage Boosie's reputation again? Or worse, could it lead to renewed scrutiny from authorities? Because as history has shown, even a rumor can snowball into an investigation, especially when the internet spreads it faster than any newspaper ever could. And that's exactly why Boosie's taking no chances. He's not just defending his legacy. He's protecting his freedom. The man's already served time. He's seen friends die, seen others snitch, and watched the system nearly swallow him whole. So when Charleston White starts hinting at new evidence, Boosie's not hearing gossip. He's hearing the beginning of a storm. But here's the part that's even more shocking. Some insiders are claiming that Charleston might not be bluffing at all. According to whispers online, there may actually be sealed or unreleased documents from that 2005 case, documents that were never entered into public record because of witness protection issues and sealed testimony. Whether Charleston really has access to them or is just pretending to, nobody knows for sure. But the mere suggestion has reopened old wounds that Boosie probably hoped would stay closed forever. At first glance, it might seem like just another loud internet feud between two outspoken personalities. Charleston White says something wild, the internet reacts, and Boosie responds. Nothing new, right? But this situation is different, because behind the viral clips, the social media comments, and the millions of views, there's something brewing that could have real-world consequences. Not just for Charleston or Boosie, but for everyone connected to that long-forgotten 2005 case. Let's start by remembering what made Boosie such a lightning rod for controversy in the first place. Back in the mid-2000s, Boosie was more than just a rapper. He was the voice of Baton Rouge's streets, someone who lived what he rapped. But that authenticity came with a price. In 2005, a murder-for-hire plot involving Boosie's circle made headlines. Even though Boosie was later cleared, the case haunted him for years. It became a symbol of how success in hip-hop can never fully escape the shadow of the streets.